Before we get into the body of the presentation of today's video, I just wanted to briefly show you what Calista's artifact is going to be. It was deposited into the test server as I was editing the video. So in this, the Helm of Yonner, as you can see here at 10 out of 10, she will gain AoE damage at 20%, and then the number of knockback targets from the talent increases by 2. So her talent is already knocking back 2 targets. So we're up to 4. Okay, so that's essentially what that is going to entail there when it comes to her artifact. The other thing here too is if we fully max it out, the damage increases to 30%, but the talent, the number of knockback targets remains the same. It increases by 2. So all it's doing is just increasing the AoE damage. So I do really think that based on what we're seeing with the artifact, that it does not change the major point of the video. So with that said, let's go to it. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back. We're going to be talking about Calista, the hero, in this video, and I really want to refine it to Gear Dungeon 2 so I can show you exactly what's going on in the interaction between the Tormented Banshee and her kit, and just kind of give you an idea of what to expect when we get this hero into our accounts, because she is going to be the Winter Jubilee Fusion or the Shard Collection that we're going to be able to add this hero to our account. So just as a reminder here, I would just want to go briefly overview of her kit. The one thing from the preview video that I had published is that one of the things that caught my eye is that her basic attack here has a 15% chance to knock back enemies. Not only that, we get an additional 5% if her Dawn Salvation stacks build up, right? So there's an additional 5%, we get then 20. Not only that, her ultimate can then knock back people up to 5 targets, can knock him back as well. So there's definitely a lot of options here to knock back the enemy. Now, the thing is that when we wanted to try this out, we also wanted to see how potent is this knockback, right? Can she really push that Banshee out of the way? So just the other thing I'm going to emphasize here, because this is going to come into play, her first awakening actually is strength is stun knockback. Okay, so it does enhance it when you give her that first awakening. Now, let me go here to Gear Dungeon 2. And then I'm going to show you the interaction so you can kind of get an idea of whether this particular hero is going to help you. And then I'm going to also tell you some of the stuff that I've been seeing. So for this is the A01. So here, let me switch her from this one. I wanna, where is the other hero here? I thought I had here. Let me give her this, and let me see if I have something here. Okay, let's give her this. Let's give her this. This is going to be good enough for the example. So I'm gonna actually put her in a damage build because she needs to hit the Banshee. All right, so here, let me show you this first. So this is A0. She's a 2-tile fighter. So then the idea came to mind. Okay, can we place her then? There's a potential here to possibly place her behind a tank. So this is exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna place her right behind Edith, and I'm not gonna activate either ultimate. What I'm looking for here is to see, can we damage the Banshee, number 1, and number 2, can we knock it back and get it out of the way? So we're going to be dependent on the ultimate trigger at the precise time. Okay, that is one of the things that I'm finding, because her ultimate is auto. It needs to trigger at that precise point when this Banshee is in her death state, and she needs to get the pushback. So right now what I'm looking for is that basic, that 20% going to proc for us at the perfect opportunity. So here we're coming close to the death. So there was that one knockback there. She's still in range. I'm waiting for the 20%. I'm waiting for the 20%. I'm waiting for the 20%. And that's the problem. So that is the current problem that we have if we do place her behind the tank. If it doesn't proc, the tank dies. All right. And that's one of the things that, at least in these stages, especially number 10, we don't want, because we need to be swapping to contend with the rotating clones, and we don't want the we don't want the Volca here to get powered up, so she takes us down fairly easy. All right, so now let me scratch this. So then the other thing that I was doing is, and you kind of saw there with the glacier set, that I was actually then going to tank her up. And so here is the other way that I treated this. And this is what I was trying to get to work with her at A0. So let me go back here. And now this is the A0. Yes, it is. So we're going to swap back to this glacier set that I had her in. Oh, and by the way, for this, I'm just have the lunacy visor on because eventually what I was using her for is to block the sycophants as well. So now let me go ahead now position this in a manner that it was working for me in the beginning. So I'm hoping that it works for this, but we'll get it to work. So first thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to place Volca down, and then we're going to place her, and I'm going to wait a little bit. Now I'm going to do it. All right, here we go. So now I'm placing her in the front. She's actually going to be the unit that stops the Banshee. And again, I'm hoping the Volca, that I can time here the damage here with Volca, so she pushes with her ultimate at the precise moment. Okay, so here we go. So I'm not triggering the ult with Volca yet because I want that rage to build. Okay, so here we go. And then you can kind of keep track as to when she pushes back as well. All right, so we're gonna do it now. See if we can kill the Banshee. Okay, so there is one. That was the ultimate's knockback. And now I'm just hoping for the 20%. Okay, there we go. So it triggered, right? So now hopefully the Banshee goes away. Okay, so there. So if if the RNG hit right, I was able to get her to back up. Now here's the problem, is that as the rounds build and then the second Banshee comes out, not only do you have the sycophants coming at you at the same time as that Banshee, it is really hard to then time that ultimate to trigger at the precise time and kill the Banshee. You have to pay attention. You have to be very attentive to make sure that the Banshee dies at the precise moment that times that ultimate, so you get the knockback, and then hopefully you get the knockback with the basic while you're doing everything else that you have to watch out for. The clones coming down here, making sure the sycophants get eliminated here, and then you then get clapped by the little archer that is coming here. It's a lot of stuff that you got to pay into attention because of that. So a lot of the runs that I was doing unfortunately failed because the timing was not precise. The RNG was not hitting right at the moment that I needed to. And on auto is going to be really hard to do, but I imagine that once you get the power of dominance on, you're going to be able to do it on auto, but it'll be really tough doing it at A0. Now let's switch this around. Let's go to A1. So let me quit here. I'm gonna switch Awakening. So I'm gonna go for the A1 Calista that we have here. Where's that Infernal Rose Red? Let's do that Infernal Rose Red here. All right, and do we want to? For this purpose, I can leave her in the Realm Tear. Okay, so let's go ahead and play it out now. So here we go. So again, it's the tank. Now she is the damage dealer. And I'm gonna place LON here. All right, so let's go. Let's try to speed this up a little bit. And there we go. Now we're gonna try to do some damage to this tormented Banshee. Okay, so I'm just gonna let these two take care of it. So there is the knockback from the ult. I hope you notice the difference because the strength of it definitely increased. Okay, so here we go. We're getting ready. For the Banshee to die. So this should do it. Okay, so here is what I'm hoping that things show exactly how I have seen them previously. So I'm hoping it triggers. Okay, there we go. No, the tank still died. All right, so let me go back. Let's try this again. So let's put a tank in front, and I'm gonna try to time this a little bit better, and then we'll do, let's see if I can activate that. Let's see if we can get that ultimate activated in time. This is the problem with her ultimate being auto. If we had a little bit more control of it, we could control this Banshee a lot better. That is the issue that we're having with trying to time things here. So let me see here. So there she goes. And can we get her ult to come back? Okay, she's almost dead. Can we kill her? Okay, there we go. So it was all about the timing, right? But in this instance here, we were able, from this tile, we were able to knock out the Banshee further enough from the tank to not kill it. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. But again, as you saw, timing. There has to be a timing, a precise timing to when that Banshee dies and that ultimate goes off. All right, now let's show the A1. I'm going to show you the A1 in that Glacier set, in that tanky mode that I had previously had the A0, and to see how viable then she is in that manner. Because if you team her up with somebody like Volca, I think that that is a little bit more manageable. So let me, again, I'm going to swap this. Let's do the Glacier set. There we go. And should I put here? Let's do here in case we want to see the interaction with the Sycophants. So we'll give her this one. All right, let's try this. And okay, here we go. I'm gonna try to time things here. So I am going to place Volca, Eloin, and I'm gonna wait a little bit. Let's see, 25. All right, let's try this. Hopefully it works, because that's exactly what I want to see here. So here we go. So she's not gonna do a whole lot of damage, but one of the things that at least can do is try to time her rage and Volca's ultimate. But I think Volca is doing a good enough job here to kill the Banshee. So I think that this might actually work. So there it goes. It dies. Now let's do the knockback. Perfect. And so you start setting things up. Look at how far the Banshee now is away. And she should disappear. So here, let me set this up here to give you an idea of this interaction here. Let me see if I can get Hex out in time. So then you go ahead and watch the bottom, so you can kind of see how these two are dealing with the bottom here with all these Sycophants and trying to manage them. So there we go. Here, let me put this tank here so that the run doesn't end. So now you can get an idea. So there we go. So I took the gear off Valeria, but this is fine because this is exactly the example that I wanted to show you. So essentially what's coming down to is, in summary, when you get this hero into your account, it's going to be at a 0. There's going to be some trickery, some RNG that you're going to have to count on. Similar to the Barot strategy that some people are utilizing to clear this content. And so her knockback is It's at A0 is good enough. It's just number one, you have to kill the Banshee at the precise moment, and then you have to hope that the passive triggers, okay, or the talent triggers, okay. 15% is low, but you gotta hope for that talent to trigger, so it backs it up enough. All right. So that's kind of the problem right now. And you cannot place her behind a tank. You cannot approach that strategy. She has to be front and center if that's what you want to do. The other thing is that if then you do Kevin are lucky enough to then awaken into A1, now you have the options. Now you really can either use her to be right at the front, or she can be behind a tank and she can just be a straight out DPS. So the knockback is not as efficient, not as powerful at A0 than it is at A1. So make of that, especially for your account, make of that as you will. If this turns you off on the hero, then use her for other things that she might be capable of doing. The fact that she's knocking back 5 enemies, I do wonder if there is something that is coming down the pipeline later. But as of right now, in terms of whether she's going to be an MVP for Gear Dungeon 2, I would say not at A0. You might be able to harness that talent and time things correctly to make sure that it works. It's going to be really difficult to do, as you saw me do. I had to make sure that things were timed correctly. At A1, things open up for you because you can either put her behind the tank. You saw how strong that push was, or you can use her in the front and team her up with somebody like Volca just to eliminate psychophants. You put visors on both of them, they should take care of the psychophants very, very well. So in the scope, in the end, as a summary, I am going to say that the hero is going to be competent, but she is not the key to unlock Gear Dungeon 2. That's the one I'm going to leave it up until you get the first awakening, and that is going to be the play. Now, I will say that in the announcement that was released on Discord, it's not in the in-game announcement, but in the announcement that was actually released on Discord by Batista, it actually says in there that we are going to get an unpolished soulstone out of the festival, whether you have to grind something or it's part of an event, or whatever it is that we're going to have to do. There was going to be something that is going to give us that unpolished soulstone. Is it a coincidence that this hero is being given to us at the same time with this unpolished soulstone? I'll leave that up to you if you want to make that connection. But if you have Edith, I would definitely not invest on that soulstone on her. If you're really desperate to finish Gear Dungeon 2, I would say it's up to you, but I wouldn't do it. Farming Gear Dungeons is essentially just an opportunity for us to possibly get variant gear. That's essentially what it's coming down to, at least from what I'm seeing. I'm not getting very many mayats from those dungeons to farm T3 sets, but at least we get the opportunity to possibly get variant gear, which is what we're all going for. But I wouldn't invest in polished soulstone on her just to clear that content. It's not going to be the proper way to use it, I imagine, unless you're really one of those that is the completist and wants to do it and get it done. But aside from that, no, I would just wait to opportunity to summon for her. Maybe she eventually down the line gets a 15x banner after the summoning event is done, just to get that the opportunity to get that awakening. But that unpolished soulstone that they're going to give you, I wouldn't use it on her. That's essentially what I'm coming back, because all you're doing is strengthening the knockback, and then if you clear the dungeon, and after that you're going to be looking at it as like, oh, I don't have that soulstone anymore. So I wouldn't do it. I would reconsider it if you're really thinking about pulling that move. So I'm sorry that this went a little bit long. I just wanted to really show you what the interaction was with Gear Dungeon 2, and I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions about the hero and how helpful she's going to be for that specific dungeon for your account. Thank you all very much for tuning in and watching. If you appreciated the content of the video, please do hit like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next Watch Your Realms video.